and I was back on the road in search of a good camp spot. I actually just pulled into this road off of the highway because it looked kind of interesting. But to get in, I had to go under here, and I just barely fit. That was a pretty spot, but the road didn't really go anywhere, it just stayed right off the highway. So I went back on the road and I actually saw a little turkey. And it wasn't long before I spotted another good looking dirt road. Yeah, this area seemed to have a lot of nice looking camp spots. This was a nice spot, but I wanted to get a little bit deeper in the woods than this. This area in Ouachita National Forest had a lot of these open pastures that make for really good camp spots, but I wanted to see what else this area had to offer, so I kept on exploring. Here I came upon another downed tree that I just barely fit under. This next one I actually didn't fit under, so I had to go around it. But I'm clearly not the only one who doesn't fit under this, because people have carved a little path around it. It was really steep and kind of risky for my big truck though. I did end up finding a little place to sleep along these trails, but nowhere permanent. The next day I kept on my exploration and search for a good spot to stay at for a while. So after driving through the forest for a while, I actually found this really cool area, a little clearing for some power lines that had this massive cliff and a really pretty stream. So I just had to check it out, just had to figure out a way to get down. Oh, and when I got out of my car, I even noticed some native cactus, which was really cool to see, so I got some pics of those. And sure enough, I did find a little road that went all the way down to the bottom. The only thing is, it was really rocky and really steep, but I made it all down with no problems, just had to give it a look before I went down. I was right under some power lines here and pretty close to a big road, but I did find another little dirt road that might hold some promising spots.
Guess I could go that way. This way looks like a whole lot of fun. Well, I can't tell just how bad this is. Someone must have really had some fun coming down here at one point. Those are big holes. But I can come right up here.
This was really a beautiful spot. It was just way too close to private land for me to feel comfortable camping here, so kept on my way on this little narrow road. This little road was so overgrown though, it basically just turned into forest the further I went in. It was definitely pretty tight, but I managed to get myself out of it. Yeah, there wasn't much here except for power line service roads, so made my way out and headed back into the main part of the national forest. I found this road. It looked pretty interesting, but it must have been a logging road. It just got worse and worse the further I went, and really, really rough. As you can see, there were downed trees all over the place. There was actually a giant downed tree blocking the creek crossing, so I had to enter into the creek a little bit earlier to get to the other side, but I made it through and got onto the bank. Yeah, this is when I started to realize this probably wasn't a route I wanted to take. It was just all dead and all deforested and not fun, but there was plenty of good firewood for me to take, so that was a plus. Yeah, at this point I saw a way out, so I just went and headed towards that road. At this point I was still in a fairly remote area, pretty deep inside the national forest, so did keep my eyes open for any other national forest entry points. And yeah, maybe half an hour later I found a pretty good looking entry point that seemed to go fairly deep into the forest. There was plenty of little tangential roads around here, but I found this one that is supposed to go to a lot of little creeks and follow them for a while, so I went and checked it out. And here I even passed by a little hunting lodge. At this point the road kind of forked, but I wanted to see what was to the left, so I went that way. But sure enough, the road kind of just turned into a trail as it went up this little cliff here, so I had to turn around. There was a lot of water crossings through this little stretch of woods, but there was one that actually did give me problems, and it's because of this really steep sandy bank here. It's kind of hard to tell how steep it is, but there's actually a big giant rock buried in it that just put me at a really weird angle and wasn't letting my tire get any traction, and eventually I just had to move it and I made it through fine. But there you go, there was one water crossing that was kind of rough to get through. Eventually I did get away from those creeks though, and this road actually opened up and brought me up onto a ridgeline. I even ended up stumbling upon this really pretty pasture. So after a long day of exploring, I did finally find an area that I thought would be perfect to set up camp and stay for a while. These couple of trees in the middle of the pasture here looks like they'd be perfect for me to set up camp around, but I did actually see a little road that went further back, so I went to check that out first. This trail just ended up stopping right up here, but I'm glad I checked it out because, well, if I ever need to go number 2, this is a perfect little trail. But now the sun's getting pretty low in the sky, so I headed back and went to set up camp before it got dark. Once I was pretty much all unpacked, it was really nice to just relax and have a nice little fire. It was actually such a nice and peaceful spot with my little fire that I decided to sleep on my hammock that night. It was a really nice night.